Hello everyone, welcome to this week's episode of Check It Out. Today we're going to be talking about one of my all-time favorite bands. They are called Post Animal. My name is Corey Schmidt, and welcome to Stereospace. Alright, so once again, this band is called Post Animal. They are sort of a mix of like garage rock, indie, synth pop a little bit, and a little bit of hard rock as well. And this is really cool the way that they're able to mix all these styles together and make something very unique. A lot of those styles are very different from each other, but they're still able to connect it all together and make it sound like a cohesive thing. And it still ends up sounding like Post Animal. I mean, no matter which song you're listening to by them, it still sounds like them, not just because it's the same singer or whatever, because they actually have multiple singers anyways, but just the fact that they're able to just sort of have one style within all of the different genres is really cool. And within that general style, like I said, they have a lot of different genres within it, depending on which release you're listening to even. For example, their first album came out in 2015, and that one is more garage rock and psychedelic. It's really heavy, a lot of distortion, stuff like that. And same with their EP that came out in 2016, but then their quote-unquote full-length debut, the one from 2015 is sort of an album, but they call their one from 2018 their debut. That one is more indie and a little bit more psychedelic versus garage, but definitely more indie and alternative. And then their latest release, which was just this year, that one is called Forward Motion Goddessy. It's their latest album, and that one is a lot heavier and there's a lot more elements of hard rock, but at the same time there's a lot more synths than in the last record and a lot more instances of garage rock too, so they've really just expanded on their sound for each album, sort of dipping their toes in a couple of different genres depending on which release you're talking about, which I think is really cool. But like I said, they still all sound like their music, and that's why I think it works really well, and that's one thing that I really like about this band. Alright, so I think we made it to the intermission. This song I'm going to play is off their latest album called, once again, Forward Motion Goddessy. Came out this year in February. Did it come out in February? And this song specifically might not be your type of song. It might not be the genre or style that you're necessarily into. But like I said, they have so many different styles throughout all the releases that you will most likely be able to find a song, or hopefully many more, but at least one song that you can get into, and it's definitely more up your alley. Even just within this one album, but also on their other albums and EPs, there's definitely something for everyone, which I think is really cool. But anyways, this one is one of my favorites, maybe my favorite Post Animal song. It is one of their heaviest as well, but I think it's one of their best. So once again, I apologize if it's not necessarily your type of song, but there's definitely a Post Animal song out there for you. But this one works for me. So let's check it out. We'll be back, but for now, enjoy the intermission. And the last thing I want to say about this band is just that they're super nice guys. I know I say that about a lot of bands, but it's actually true for this band especially. When we saw them a year ago, I believe, back in February of 2019, I saw them with my two cousins. And my cousin brought a sign asking to let him play a song on guitar that he had learned, that he could play a song with them on stage. It was one of Post Animal's songs, and so he brought the sign. He was like, hey, maybe they'll pull me up on stage and let me play. And they actually did. They saw his sign, and they started playing that song, and they actually had forgot about him, and then one of the other band members reminded the guy that was closest to us and signaled to grab him, and so we helped lift up my cousin and pulled him on stage, and he grabbed his guitar from the other bandmate, and he got to play the song. It was super, super cool. And I think I'm actually going to play a clip here because it actually is it makes me so happy watching it because it was just such an amazing experience. So here's a clip of it. So yeah, it was really, really cool, and props to Nate. I'm sure you're watching this. You're a great guitarist, and you did a great job on that song. And I know that you did because we actually got to meet them afterwards, and they told us how good a job you did. They were super, super nice. We were just about ready to leave. They were a couple of them were hanging out with the opening bands at the merch table after the show, so we were just hanging out and stuff. And then this lady walked up to us and was like, "Hey, you were the one that went on stage, right?" My cousin was like, "Yeah." And she was like, "Do you want to come back and meet the band? They just finished cleaning up if you want to meet them." And we were like, yeah, can we come too?" And she was like, "Sure." So we all got to go back there and meet them, and they were super nice, and they were like, "Yeah, dude, you did such a good job," and stuff like that. It was just a really cool thing, because I mean, it was one thing to let him go up on stage and let him play 90% of the song, which is really, really cool. But also the fact that they wanted to meet him afterwards was so cool. And we talked for a while, and it was really, really fun, and it was just a great experience between fans and a band. It's just something really, really cool, and it's definitely a connection that I got to make with the band, which was really awesome as well. And that just once again makes their music even more exciting. When I get to listen to it, I can think of that experience, especially that song. I always think of pulling him up on stage and watching him just shred the guitar on the whole song. It was so freaking cool. And so it's just a great experience, and it's another reason why I really like the band, aside from their music being really good. So once again, my pick for this week is Post Animal. They have merch, and they have physical releases of their albums as well. I believe I have one. Where is it? Where did I put it? Here we go. Yeah, so I have one of theirs. This is probably my favorite of theirs. Actually, I have both of them. What am I saying? Yeah, so I have this one, which is their 2018 release, which is the one that's a little bit more indie-like, and this one, which is their 2020 release, and it was a little bit heavier with more synths as well. And this is the one that had the song that I played during the intermission. So both of these are such good albums. You can get it on their website, and I've gotten both of these in record stores, so they are available in record stores. If you're watching this around the time that I'm releasing it, record stores aren't open. But once they open up again, it's something you should definitely check out. And they have merch as well. I have one of their shirts. I'm not wearing it right now because the shirt that I got, unfortunately, is too small now because it is old. But it was really cool, and they got lots of good stuff, so you can check them on their website, and you can download their music on all streaming platforms and definitely check them out. And once again, like I always say, I'm not sponsored by the band, I just think they're awesome. So let me know in the comments what you thought of the band. If you've listened to them before, let me know, and it's really cool to find another fan that knows this band already. Besides Nate, I already know you listen to them, obviously. but if anyone else does, that's awesome. And let me know also if you check these guys out for the first time and you really like it, or even if you don't like them, let me know. I'd love to talk about it and stuff like that. And also, if you want, you can let me know in the comments if you have any other bands that you want me to do on this series. I have a list on my phone for now of bands that I definitely want to spotlight, but of course it's going to run out eventually. So if you have any ideas, you can shoot them my way. So yeah, we'll see you guys next week for our next installment of Check It Out. Thank you guys so much for watching Stereospace.